Hello everybody, it is Michael here from My Retirement Trading, and this is episode 14 of the Coffee and Dividend series, which is my weekly recap where I go over my distributions and maybe some trades that I have done this week. And this week was a very good week. I received $1,192.79 worth of distributions. But before I get into this, I must state that none of this is financial advice or a recommendation, and it is for entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it. Well, we head over to my spreadsheet on my cash account and to see what the distributions were this week. And the first one is TSPY by Tap Alpha, and I received $303.09, and my cost basis was $24,052.34 on that one. And the next one is GPIQ by Goldman Sachs, and I received $247.35, and my cost basis is $23,270.40. And the next one is WPAY by Roundhill. I received $202.93, and my cost basis on this one is $19,215.31. And then the next one is by YMAX. I received $29.19, and my cost basis is $1,939.81. The next distribution is by YMAX. It's YMAG, $3.46. And my cost basis is $393.35 on that one. Then I got NVII by Rec Shares, $66.99. And my cost basis is $6,809.73. And that one's NVIDIA based. The next one is also by Rec Shares. It's Tesla based. TSII. I received $84.87. And my cost basis on that is $5,755 on that batch. And the next one's by Defiance ETFs. It's QLDY, and it pays twice a week. And the first payment was $4.08, and the second one was $4.05. And my cost basis on this batch is $1,006.70. So that takes care of all the payments in my cash account. Now let's go to the ones that cover the crypto. This is also my cash account. The first one is Ethereum based, and it's by Roundhill, YETH, YETH, and it paid $45.30, and my cost basis is $3,200.48. And the next one is YBTC by Roundhill. This one's Bitcoin based, and it paid $159.28. And my cost basis on this one is $20,103.88. The next one is BLOX, BLOX, and I got $37.67. And that one, the cost basis is $5,229. And the last one is BITK, and it paid $4.53, and my cost basis on that was $538.75. So my grand total in that one was $246.78. So let's see, 246.78, and it will go to the cash account, and it was 946.01. for a grand total of $1,192.79. Now, there was 2 monthly payers this week. So if we subtract those, the TSPY and the other one was GPIQ. So that gives me a grand total of $642 in weekly payers, and the remainder was in monthly payers. But I'm not really complaining. But on this particular batch, if you multiply that by 52, that would be $33,402.20 in weekly payers in a year's time. So there's that. And then what did I do this week? Well, this market was a very red market this week. You can see on the S&P 500, it just continued to go down all week. And it finally reversed at the end a little bit today, but it was a red week. So what did I do? Well, I took advantage of the red days, and I added to some of my positions. And the ones I added to were this QLDY by Defiance ETFs. I added on the today, which is 11/7/2025. I added 30 YMAX today at $11.06 a share. I added 20 more PLTY at $19.47 a share. And that's based on Palantir, and that is REC shares. And 50 more WPAY today by Roundhill at $48.84. And so I'll have to add that to my spreadsheets. But and then yesterday, which was 11/6, this QLDY, I added 60 shares at one time at $49.54. And then I added an additional 20 shares at $49.64 of this QLDY by Defiance. And then I added 20 more BITK yesterday, 11/6, for $20.12. And I believe they got like a very good payment coming out somewhere around 50 cents on Monday, something like that. And then on the 4th, which was 11/4, which I believe that was Tuesday, I added 150 shares of this PLTY the day it launched by REC shares. And like I said, that's based on Palantir. And then the other one I added was this HOII by REC shares, and it's based on Robinhood. And so that's kind of what's been going on this week so far. But like I said, it was a red week, and I've kind of really been enjoying this QLDY by Defiance ETFs. And if you go to their website and defianceetfs.com and look up the QLDY, it's called the NASDAQ 100 Lightning Spread Income ETF, QLDY. And you can learn a lot more about it over there, but it pays twice a week. And my experience with it has been pretty good so far. Let's see, I went this past week before I added the additional shares. I received $4.08 and $4.05 for $8.13. And that was on an original purchase of $1,006.70. And that's paying about, on my cost basis on that batch, about a 41.99, let's just round it to 42% distribution rate. And like I said, this one pays twice a week. So I've been really pleased with it so far. But anything can change. But like I said, I added more shares today, and the cost basis on all my shares, and I do have this set to drip, was $4,972.30 with the additional shares. And at close today, it's still worth $5,009.29. So I'm still in the green so far. But, time will always tell on something like this. But I just wanted to share my transparent data on this and how it's been going. And like I said, I've been enjoying it. So I went ahead and added some more to my portfolio. And so I'll be back in a few minutes with a conclusion. Well, earlier this week on Wednesday, I released a video. It was an interview I had with John Tinsman of AOT Invest, and it was on his fund, AOTG. It's a Growth and Innovation fund. And I learned a lot by listening to this video. I mean, it was an amazing video. He had a lot of facts that he presented and everything, and his thesis was amazing. And he made his case why he's a big growth investor. And how that personally affects me is that I do own a little bit of the AOTG, but I actually have probably 2/3 of my money that I'm still trying to grow. And so one day I could convert it to income funds if necessary for more income. But definitely check that video out if you haven't seen it. And like I said, this was a red week, and I received $1,192.79 worth of distributions, and I added 2 new positions, PLTI by REC shares, and I added 150 of those when it came out on 11/4. And also on 11/4, I added 150 shares of the HOII by REC shares, and it's based on Robinhood. And then on later on in the week, on 11/6, I added 20 shares of BITK to my portfolio. I already had some. And I also added 80 shares on that same day of QLDY by Defiance ETFs. And then today, I added 30 shares of YMAX by YieldMax for more weekly income. And I added 20 more shares of the PLTI by REC shares and 50 shares of WPAY by Roundhill. And like I said, none of this is financial advice or a recommendation. This is just what I'm doing. So don't do it just because I'm doing it. This is my journey. And if you all have anything to add, give me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're trading these funds, and let me know what your experience is in the comments. And also, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel. And on that note, until next time, I will catch you all later.